Hey guys, I'm just a freak. I'm back with the manga haul for the month of January. Oh god, I have over 20 packages, so we have a lot to unbox. So let's just get it. So first of all, uh, let me show you guys some manga that I already unboxed. Um, that I got for the month of January, and the first one is Kuro. This is in German, and I started to buy some German manga because I'm learning German, and my first thought was that if I actually want to practice some German, I may as well start by reading some German manga because it's gonna be way easier than a book. And this one was recommended to me on Discord by Manga Mogura, and I can say that it's just great. So the vocabulary in this one, it's pretty easy. It's something for beginners. It doesn't have that many words, and that it doesn't have so much text, and the text in it's pretty easy. And also, since this was practically, it started in Japan by being a webcomic first, a lot of the chapters are one page long, or as you can see, here is chapter 26 and here is chapter 27. And this is practically was quite easy for me to read as a beginner in German, and it was also quite enjoyable because this is a pretty good manga. This is a pretty good manga. It's pretty cute, it's interesting, it has that whole vibe because it's practically the story of this girl named Coco and Kuro, her cat. And suddenly her cat went away out of the house in a city that strangely it's kind of surrounded by some weird monster, demons, aliens. I don't really know exactly what they are at this point. And when she came back, she was a little bit different. Sorry, I had to adjust my tripod because it fell down on me. So she came back a little bit different, and this girl is, I don't know, she kind of realized it, but she doesn't really want to accept that, or she thinks that maybe she's just imagining things. And yeah, it has that whole mystery about those creatures that are lurking in that town. And besides that, you also get their day-to-day interaction, which is quite nice, quite cute, sometimes funny, sometimes lovely. So far I've read this volume and I'm loving it. And the next series that I got in German is Kimba, the White Lion. And this is practically Osamu Tezuka's take on the whole Animal Kingdom story, something similar to Lion King. And I think that Lion King might be a ripoff of this one, because this was done in the 40s or 50s, something like that. Anyway, it's another Tezuka work that they actually have in German. In German, they're in hardcover, and this was also recommended by me, and I can't wait to read it. Just wanted to say that this is a little bit difficult comparing to this one to read. This one was way easier to read than this one. Next, let's move to actually unpacking something. So let's see what we have here. And it looks like we have volume 4 from Comic and Communicate. At this point, the series is quite popular in the community. It's a drama, rom-com kind of series. This character over here, Comic, she has trouble communicating, so she ends up in a lot of situations. So yeah, this is volume 4, and volume 5 is coming out in a month or something like that, if I remember correctly. Next, let's see another one, and this is At the Mountain of Madness by Ghoul, and of course based on At the Mountain of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft. So I can't wait to read this second volume that will practically end the series. As I told you guys before, I am a H.P. Lovecraft fan. I really like his horror. He's one of the, I don't know, fewer authors out there that kind of give me the creeps while I'm reading their manga and their stories, and the Ghoul put this in a visual way, so I can practically actually see how the mangaka imagined all of the Lovecraft, all of this Lovecraft story. The only problem that I have with this manga is, I don't know, sometimes for me it feels kind of hard to decipher everything because of the dark tones that the mangaka is using, but I don't know, maybe that's just for me. Can't wait to read that. Next one, let's see what we have here, and this looks like the first volume from Citrus. So as you guys know, in November or so, or December, I can't remember, I picked up volume 8, I think, from Citrus, from Amazon sale. Yeah, this is a series, a Yuri series that I enjoyed as an anime, and for some time I was planning to get manga, but it's kind of expensive. It's 7 Cs and it's kind of expensive for some reason, and I started to pick it up, and I really want to see how the manga is different from the anime and how this will play out, because I really enjoyed the anime. It's basically these two characters over here suddenly they become stepsisters, and as normally happens in in the anime and manga world, when you get a stepsister, you will get a hard on her. With siblings, it always gets to that lately. I don't know. It's weird, but it's funny at the same time. And I think it was my first Yuri that I've read. Next one, I have volume 1 from Hunter x Hunter. In that same Amazon sale, I picked up a bunch of volumes scattered around from this series, and since they were so incredibly cheap, I decided to go into it and start collecting this series and to read it, because a lot of people were praising it. So yeah, another shonen. This is volume 1, and that means that I can start reading it, so that's great. And damn, so this is volume 6 from Drifters. I can't even remember when the last volume came out. To get a volume from this series, it takes like 1 or 2 years at least. But anyway, this is from the same mangaka that did Hellsing, and I've read Hellsing. I loved his style and I like his stories, and I saw the anime for this, and that one was also pretty good. It's basically when some of the people die, but when I'm talking about some important historic figures in this world, I don't know, a samurai that was leading a really awesome fight, or someone from World War II or something like that, they get transported into another world, and they just end up there thinking that that's the afterlife, but suddenly they end up being sucked in a war that they have to fight, and it has that whole bloodlust in it that you also saw in Helsing, and so far this was great, and I'm happy that another volume came out, because it took so long that at some point I thought that it was maybe cancelled, and when I saw that volume 6 will actually come out, I was happy, because I wanted to see how this goes on. So yeah, volume 6 from Drifters. Next one, another volume from Hunter x Hunter, so this is volume 11. One step closer to actually getting caught up to date with it, because this series is not yet finished. Maybe it will never be, because the author was constantly on hiatus. That was one of the reasons why I kind of stayed off of it and I didn't pick it up any sooner. So yeah, this is volume 10. I just hope that this will get finished at some point. I hate collecting and reading or watching something that never gets an ending. Kind of one of the reasons that got me into manga, because I loved the anime for Claymore, and I heard that it was only half of the manga. I knew that it wasn't finished, that the finish that they did, the ending that they did was a fake one. So I bought the manga to read the rest. Okay, and I also have volume 12, as you can see. Next, let's get into the cardboard ones. Let's see what we have here. This is volume 11 from Tokyo Ghoul. Haven't started to read yet, but I loved the initial series, Tokyo Ghoul, the first season, as I may say it. And damn, this is another beautiful cover. This author has some incredible covers, in my opinion. I heard that it's not that good. It doesn't stand up to Tokyo Ghoul. But yeah, I guess that I will like it. It's kind of a... But I can't say that it's a blind buy for me, because I love the first season, so probably I'm gonna like the second one also. Next, I've picked up another volume from Fruits Basket, so this is volume number 3, and this is part of the collector's edition that Jan Press is putting out right now. I think these are 2-in-1s, and yeah, I started watching Fruit Basket, the anime. I also heard a lot of good things about it. I've read part of volume 1, and I know that I'm gonna like this series, but I'm slowly collecting it because it's quite pricey for some reason, or I don't know, since it's a 2-in-1 and it's a quite nice edition. Maybe it's not that pricey, but still I'm trying to find out deals on it. And let's see what we have here, and it looks like we have volume 7 from House of Five Leaves. As you know, I started to pick this up finally in December, and this is volume 7. I'm missing volume 8, and I hope that that one is also here. And with that, I've completed this series, and I have to start reading it, because I have really high hopes for this series. I've read Not Simple from Natsume Ono, and I like the mangaka's art style and also the writing, and this is a samurai story, practically somehow of a ronin, but not exactly, gets hired by a sketchy family to be their bodyguard, and things just go on from there. I have high hopes for this one. Next one, let's see. And it looks like this is Fooly Cooly. So yeah, I decided to pick Fooly Cooly. This is an omnibus put out by Dark Horse, and it contains the whole manga adaptation of the anime, and it's something that I heard a lot of people saying good things about it, and it's a short read, and from what I've read and from what I heard, I think I'm gonna like it. Basically, a guy in everything happens in a small town, at least at first, from what I understood, and this guy meets a kind of intergalactic investigator or something like that, a girl who drives a Vespa, and she practically runs him over one day. And after that, when he was run over, he got a head injury, and that kind of opened the portal, and shit goes bat crazy from there on, and they have to fight the giant robot and stuff like that. So yeah, looking up for this, and I think it's gonna be a good one. Let me grab some coffee. So next, I have a package that was sent to me by someone from the Manga Collectors Discord, because I went there and on multiple channels, to be honest, to ask for some advice for German manga, because I know that the Germans have a lot of good series that are not out in English, and I also know that I don't want to get a series that I can get in English, because that would be kind of double dipping for me. And since I have the chance to read series that are not printed in English, and normally without knowing German you won't be able to actually experience those series, I went in and I asked for some advice, and that Discord has a lot of German people in it, and one of the guys there offered to sell me a bunch of volumes, and for pretty cheap, and I was happy to make that deal. And let's see what he sent. Anyway, you gotta love when manga collectors are sending you packages, because damn, they do a good job. They do a really good job, because look at this, wrapped in so much paper. The packaging with the address and everything was protected by tape, and I don't know, the manga got to me intact. It's wrapped in paper, it's wrapped in plastic. You can see when someone collects manga, because they don't do that crappy job that Amazon does or other companies do. So let's see what we have here. These are two series from Tokyo Pop, and the first one is Our Lonely War. And this, from what I understood, this looks to me like kind of a small rip-off series from Evangelion, because from the description at least it has a lot of things in common. So basically, Earth gets attacked by some robot aliens, and after a while, of course, Earth was defenseless against them. Some people survived, and after a while they managed to develop some robots that are part Earth technology, part the same kind of alien technology that those alien robots are, and those robots, of course, are piloted by children. So you can kind of see the similarities with Evangelion here. I don't know. I don't think it's only me, but anyway, This is an action sci-fi series that look pretty interesting. From what I see, the art is quite good, and yeah, I can't wait to read it. And it got to me in perfect condition, and I got to say, man, Tokyopop does a way better job in Germany than it does in the US with their releases, because this is a way better quality. And let me get that Kuro volumes. Look at this, a lot of color papers. You get French flaps. I know this release is way solid than what I have for Battle Royale. So yeah, Our Lonely War, it's only a 3-volume series, sci-fi action, and it seems pretty good. And the next one, it's another release from Tokyopop, again in German. It's called Home Sweet Home, or just Sweet Home, and this looks really good. And again, part of my German learning initiative, and part of the fact that I want to experience some series that are not in English. And this is practically the story about a country, a world that was in war for some time now against an unknown enemy. So again, you have that whole mystery behind it, and they've been fighting that war for many years now. And what's weird about this is that people go on with their normal lives, but from time to time, children from high school are just taken out of their classes, and they are sent out to war to fight that war. And as you can guess, this is a high school drama story that also involves all of that mystery and action, and all the drama around fighting a war, and also the mystery of not knowing what actually is happening. So yeah, can't wait to read this also. Thanks Jonas for selling me this. Next one, let's see what we have here. Right now I have 4 series in German, so I think I'm gonna stop buying some of them, some for now until I get to finish those. But after that, I know that Origin from Boichi is in German, Old Boy is still in print in German, and a lot of other great series. One of them that I really want to read and was also recommended by me was Until Your Bones Rot. It's something that has some similarities with the movie series I Know What You Did last summer, and yeah, I've read part of it, I watched some reviews, and that looks pretty interesting. Okay, let's get to this package. I got volume 6 from the Fruit Baskets Collector's Edition. Really happy to slowly pick this series up and to read it. And the second one, it's another omnibus, but this one is from Love Hina, and this is volume 4. As you guys know, I picked up in the Amazon sale volume 5, pretty cheap, and I wanted to pick this series up for some time because I think it's gonna go out of print. I see that it has a little bit of damage there, sadly. But yeah, basically this is a harem rom-com, but that doesn't focus so much on the echiness as other series do. And it's 5 omnibuses, and yeah, this is volume 4. I'm missing volume 1, 2 and 3 that practically I'm hoping that I will get them in these packages over here. Next, oh man, this looks so cool. I wasn't expecting this to be so thick. So this is something that I wanted to read since I saw it 1 or 2 years ago on Discord as a pickup. And this is The Strange Tale of Panorama Island. And I can say that this is a beautiful hardcover. And this will be... I'm probably gonna read this right after I'm shooting this video. So it's practically a story that involves a novelist who was imagining a pretty weird story, and at some point he learns about a really rich guy that it's about to die, or he just died, and he kind of decides to impersonate that character to take over his fortune and practically cover up the fact that he's dead, and he practically also erased his existence. And he ends up building with that money an amusement park or something at that sort, but an amusement park that it's filled up with beautiful things, and it's full with weird effects, like, I don't know, stretching the horizons and stuff like that. I expect this to be a really weird read, and something that will kind of freak me out. And yeah, can't wait to read this. So happy that it got reprinted and that we also got access to it in Europe. Can't wait to read it. Next one, let's get into a package from Book Express. So this is a shop, a retailer from my country that I've been ordering stuff from it lately, because sometimes they have some really good deals on it, and I don't have to go to the post office like I have to do with Book Depository to get my books, because they use a courier, and shipping in Romania, at least, it's for free. So as you can see, I've got here the last 3 omnibus volumes from Love Hina. So this is volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. And by this I have the whole series completed in my collection, and now I can just enjoy it whenever I want to. Let's get the other volumes out. And I've got another volume from Arakawa, Under the Bridge. This is volume 4. It was so cheap there. Again, these volumes are pretty expensive for Romania. I know that in other countries, when they navigate to Book Depository, these volumes are so cheap, but for some reason for us they are expensive. I don't know why, but yeah. I've read part of the first volume, and this series is pretty funny. So far, it's basically about a guy that guy is pretty rich. He owns one of the biggest corporations in Japan, and he was raised to have a dogma in his life, to have basically a simple rule. Okay, not that simple, but his whole livelihood was based on a simple rule: never own anyone anything. So practically do everything by yourself with your own powers, and never depend on anyone. But one day he ends up getting into a situation where he has to be saved by a girl that it's practically homeless and lives under a bridge. So now he owns her, and from there everything starts going around. So yeah, really happy that I managed to get another volume. I'm missing 2 or 3 volumes from it at this point. Next, as you know, I've picked up, I think, volume 6 or 8 from Grand Blue Dreaming in that Amazon sale, and I saw 3 other volumes cheap on Book Express, and I picked up volume 1, 2 and 3. And this is a romantic comedy slice of life series that involves a diving school, and from what I keep hearing on in the community, this is a pretty funny series, and I love my funny series with someone's gonna like that. Not gonna say who, but I know it. So yeah, this is a funny series with some fan service in it and stuff like that. And yeah, I for a while now I wanted to pick it up and try it, because I like those type of series, and right now I have the first 3 volumes, so I can start reading it. The next one is another volume from Frau Faust. I think that this is the last volume. This is done by the same author that did The Ancient Magus Bride, and it practically follows Johanna Faust through her journey into the world, and it has that whole animal weird looking protagonist that as it did in The Ancient Magus Bride. I heard that it has kind of the same vibe to it. The art looks quite great, and yeah, I think I'm missing 2 volumes from this one at this point. Next one, let's see. Sorry if you hear someone snoring in the room. It's my dog Batman, because he's a bastard and he either sleeps while I'm filming, or he ends up just playing with the boxes and making a lot of noise. So this is volume 4 from the omnibus edition. These are 3-in-1s and are put out by Dark Horse, and I'm so happy that they are coming out, because I like Gantz. It was one of the first series that I've read, and I just won't pick up the singles ever, because they go for such huge prices on eBay, and so I wanted this in my collection, and this is a good and cheap way of getting into the series or collecting it if you want to. If you don't know what Gantz is a full action-packed series that involves a lot of violence, nudity. It's full of blood and stuff like that. Practically, when people die, they get summoned into a room. They are given some equipment and weapons, and they start playing a game. And that game implies that they are teleported somewhere in the city, and they have to kill some aliens. Of course, everyone's freaked out. Everyone thinks that this is a joke, but after a few minutes, shit starts to hit the fan, and everything starts to be a really huge battle filled with blood and intestines. And I know. So if you want something violent and weird, check out Gantz. Next, another volume from Tokyo Ghoul. This is volume 12, and of course another beautiful cover. Next, I've I've got another missing volume from Yu Yu Hakusho. Yu Yu Hakusho, some of you may know, it's one of my favorite animes because it's my favorite fighting anime. So, and I kind of see it as the starting point for animes like Ghoul and stuff like that, where you can see fights that take over 20 episodes to finish. So those kind of badass fights, and it's done by Yoshihiro Tagashi, the same guy that does Hunter x Hunter, and yeah, I'm slowly picking this up because I also want to experience the manga, and to be honest, I haven't watched any Yu Yu Hakusho for a few years now, and I'm starting to forget parts of it, and I had the dilemma, watch the anime again or read the manga to experience it in another way, and of course I went with the new experience and can't wait to get it all finished and read it. What the hell did I do here? What the hell? Okay, and this is the last volume that I was missing from Siren. This is volume 14. This involves a bunch of characters that have some badass psychic powers, and they end up fighting, and I heard only good things about it. Everyone says that it's a pretty nice shonen, and right now I have it all. I think that this was out of print at some point, because I remember when I got into manga that I researched this and I wanted to get it, so, and I couldn't, and a few months ago I saw that it's back in print, and I picked it up before it goes out again. Or I don't know, maybe it will never go. I don't know. But nevertheless, I'm happy to have it all. Because the beauty with having some series that you want to read is that you can read them whenever you want, how many times you want. And there's no stress in that. And it looks like this is the last volume 8 from House of Five Leaves, and with this I'm also completing House of Five Leaves and another Natsume Ono series in my collection. Really happy to have it because that was something that I never got before because it's so expensive, but really the quality is there. This, it's way better quality than the Tokyo Ghoul release, and it's practically the same signature line, but I don't know why some of the signature line are just better, because the paper is more thick. You can actually feel that in the weight of the volume. It also has French flaps, and it's just a more deluxe edition. So yeah, probably that's why it's more expensive than your normal VSig signature releases, but yeah, I'm happy to have it now and being able to enjoy it whenever I want. Let's see what we have here. By the way, I don't know if you see this, but I expect this book to be heavily damaged because it looks like this package stayed in the snow or something like that, because it has some water wear in it, and it's all, I know it just looks wrong. So hopefully everything is okay inside, but I don't have high hopes for it. I know it's not Book Depository's fault, but yeah. And amazingly, the volume is okay. So that's a pretty nice nice thing, because when sometimes I get packages that look impeccable, and when I open them the volumes are torn or something like that in it. So yeah, volume 34 4 for Hunter x Hunter or Hunter x Hunter. From what I hear, you don't say that X. It's just Hunter x Hunter. And I think that this is the last volume that I have. And so this will be the second thing that I read from this pile after I'm done with The Strange Tale of Panorama Island. And this is the second volume from Emanon. Practically it's volume 3. And I say that it's the second volume because it's the second volume from the second story. And in the whole collection, this is volume 3. I really love Emanon. Emanon volume 1, I think it was the best release that I got last year in 2019, and I can't wait to read this one also. Pretty solid series. I know that it's gonna take some time to get more because this author it's releasing his stuff a little bit slowly, but yeah, happy to have this. Thanks Dark Horse for putting this series out. So yeah, I think that this was all for my pickups for the month of January. It's a lot. I still have to find room for everything that I got here, but I'm so happy to complete some of this series and to get some new series into my collections. And then it's nice to be able to experience all of these stories. And if you guys are reading anything from here, or if you want to hear more about some of the series that I picked up, let me know in the comments. I'm really happy to talk with you guys about this medium, because that's one of the things that made me start this whole channel, was practically to talk about the series that I read, and also to get new series into my collection by asking for advice, and to interact more with the community. Because to be honest, most of the time this is a pretty great community, and people are always happy to talk about manga and to offer their help with getting new series or stuff like that. So yeah, let me know what you thought about all of this in the comment sections, and just go read some manga. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in my next video. Bye bye.